Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Sunday, December 16th, 2018. One of the top headlines, the death of a young man, the CEO of HQ Trivia, a popular game on smartphones, came out August of 2017. This man was also part of Vine, another social media application. The story is he was found dead in his apartment in New York City at age 35 with drug paraphernalia around him. They're saying he overdosed. And I'm going to show you why I doubt that's what really happened to this young man. If you're new here, been doing this work for 5 years, have a book, Letters and Numbers. The longest chapter in that book is a book within a book. There's a single chapter in this book that's over 150 pages long. It's called Murder by Numbers. A lot of overdose deaths in that chapter that were not really overdoses. That's just the way they were reported. There's a song out there to look up. It is called Murder by Numbers. It came out in the year 1983. It's about how killing people is as simple as ABC 1, 2, 3. And with that in mind, this man reportedly died from an OD at age 35. And I want to show you what OD has to do with his age of death, as well as his name, Colin Kroll. Notice the letters OD in Gematria, sum to 35. And the name Colin Kroll sums to 149, which is the 35th prime number. So what an age for him to go at. Just days ago, there was a story about fentanyl. Remember, fentanyl got big after Prince's death. The cause of death ended up being a fentanyl overdose. If you weren't following me then, before Prince died, I put out a video the day Vanity died, his former girlfriend from the time of Purple Rain, on why we would be reading about Prince's death soon. Prince died on the date April 21st. He'd recorded the song 33 years earlier in 1983, I Would Die For You. And he spelled it with the number 4, the letter U, used the 21st letter. He died on 4/21. I would die for you. So here's CNN. They just got the story up. Doing these decodes only takes moments. Somebody just let me know about this 10 minutes ago. Look at it for 10 minutes, you see enough. So anyway, this fentanyl drug, it was just reported in the headlines the other day that fentanyl overdoses were up 113%. We'll see if we get a later headline saying that this man was using fentanyl as well. But notice overdose equals 113. And again, when you learn this code, you see how all media reporting is done in this way. The numbers that are reported are actually encoded. And essentially what we're witnessing every single day is a matrix of propaganda. Let me tell you a little bit more about the number 113. It's a number of deception, comes from the Baba Kama, the Talmud, the text of the synagogue of Satan. The false Jews may use lies to circumvent a Gentile. Of course, in the Talmud, they don't refer to themselves as the false Jews, but that's who they are. Here's just a short list of words that relate to dishonesty in 113. Mainstream, dishonest, perverted, not true, not honest, not factual, disinfo, politics, perjury, fiction, bullshit, infidelity, divorce, green screen. George Lucas, by the way, equals 113. His first film was THX 1138. If you don't know about Piltdown Man, look it up. Piltdown Man. It was proof of evolution that was used for 41 years before it was admitted as scientific fraud. In case you're new here, there are 4 base ciphers. You want to know them. They're the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards, and the rules of numerology. When I first learned about Piltdown Man, all I knew about was the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. These other 2 ciphers are the reverse alphabetic order, making Z1 counting back to A is 26, and the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. Normally it's A is 1, up to Z is 26. And the numerology cipher, you just make each letter that's a single or a double digit number into a single digit number. So for example, Z in this cipher, the numerology at 26 is 2 plus 6 is 8. But anyway, Piltdown, look this up. It was an admitted fraud after 41 years. For 41 years, it was used as proof of evolution and proof that the white race was the superior race on the planet. The story was that in Piltdown, which is in the UK, they discovered this, the missing link essentially, which was this big-brained mammal that showed that the oldest race was the white race, and that's why white people had bigger brains and were smarter and were superior and greater. And anyway, then it was admitted that it was a fraud. So just understand, this was some of the earliest proof of evolution. And, that's a whole nother subject. But anyway, it was admitted to be a lie. And 113 is the number of lies. The whole O.J. Simpson thing's a hoax. Ron Goldman's a hoax. Princess Diana, her entire death has to do with 113. All this stuff is in my book in much greater detail. The entire NBA and the world of pro sports is a joke. Pay attention to how many NBA games end in a score of 113. Speaking of false Jews, who runs that? The National Basketball Association, 113. They stamp this number over all the time on their games. It's just the most repetitive number in the NBA if you pay attention to scores, and not by accident. Everything in sports is scripted. That's why the announcers are always saying you couldn't have scripted it any better. And the false ones run the entire world of pro sports worldwide. Anyway, if you've never seen my work on Titanic and the establishment of the Federal Reserve, you really got to check that out. It's everything about 113. The 3 richest men in the world who all opposed the Federal Reserve were all killed when this boat sank. A boat that sank just as it was described in a novel that came out over a decade earlier, Futility, The Wreck of the Titan, about the biggest ship ever built that sinks on its first sail from Europe to the United States after hitting an iceberg. Talk about predictive programming. NASA, by the way, does everything by the numbers. They were established on a date with 113 numerology, fraud organization. But there's just so many things that are 113. So it's the number of deception. It's used all the time to lie about overdoses of people. And, oh, by the way, YouTube, which censors the truth. I'm on my 18th channel here, in case you didn't know that. It's channel number 18. Thanks, YouTube. But YouTube, they uploaded their first video on the 113th day of the year. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think they were corrupt even before they were bought out by Google. So, what else can I tell you about this man's death? I can't find his birthday, so I can't do my full decode. I can only do a true decode if I know the birthday, but I can see enough here. He died December 16th, date with 28 numerology, 12 plus 16, 28. Kill and Colin equal 28. He died in New York City. The news comes today, the date with the life nest number of 39. Again, everything in New York's 39. New York's 39, New York's 39, NY's 39, NYC's 39, the United Nations there's 39 floors tall. They hosted the World's Fair in 39, every New York Super Bowl won, all scripted, one by the Jets, 4 by the Giants. They all come back to 39. By the way, for you Giants fans out there, G-Men equals 39. Big number in New York history, You see Saquon Barkley's first career run for 39 yards. He's playing on the G-Men. Anyway, the big one for today is this man died on a date with 46 numerology as well, and this is what we see all the time around the suspicious deaths. Sacrifice equals 46. Sacrifice 46. Genesis 46 begins with a sacrifice. A lot of this code is connected to the Bible. His name, Colin Kroll, also has Gematria of 121, like blood sacrifice. See it again and again. Kroll, the surname, Gematria is 67, like blood sacrifice. He's the CEO of HQ Trivia. Just look at the Gematria of murder and trivia. Overlap in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. Again, murder by numbers came out in the year 83. This app launched on August 26th. I just noticed that from the date it launched to the news of his death is 68 weeks later. It's another fateful number. Caskets go 6 feet deep or 8 feet long. The name Kroll does also have Gematria 68. Hype Quiz Trivia. Okay, that's what HQ stands for. I just got to see what it sums to. Hype Quiz Trivia. 73, that jumps in a big way right there. That's a number we talk about a lot. Sacrifices 73. Ritual sacrifices 73. Hold on, I got to come back one more time. Hype quiz trivia 206. I think sacrifice in Jewish gematria is also 206, if I remember right. It is. So, no wonder that he dies on the day with the sacrifice date. And I do wonder what's going on with this stuff. You know, he's a young guy, successful brand. Is he really the guy that started HQ Trivia, or is he just the front? Was he the, just the face to launch it? Who's going to take over it now? Is this product going to become even more popular in the wake of his death? That's the thing about the corporate world. Death sells. A musician dies, his record goes to #1. You know, an actor dies, all of his old movies, people go out, they rent them, they buy them, they stream them, whatever. Death sells in our society. And, you know, again, just to make the case in point, I'll just use my own work. I put out a lot of content, a lot of really important content. Most of it goes unrecognized. What doesn't go unrecognized are the videos about the deaths of people. You know, it seems to be that's what people care about. You know, most watched videos, period. I mean, overwhelmingly, they're about the deaths of other people. Now, there's a few exceptions to the rule, but you go through my most watched videos, they're by far on the topic of death. I'm going to come out to the chat real quick. I just want to see if anybody's been able to locate this man's birthday. I checked his Twitter. I didn't see it there. I couldn't find it on his social media. Could not find a birthday for this guy. But let me see if I can get to the chat real quick. Let me see. I'm hoping somebody was able to track down the birthday. That's what I'm going to check the chat for here in just a moment. See if anybody's got it. Okay. Looks like the video's already been demonetized. YouTube's on it. Thanks for the compliment. Cloudwalker says, how do I know what numbers to look into? Because I've been doing this for 5 years straight, and it took a lot of documenting and just trying to figure out what the numbers meant and how they were used ritualistically in patterns. That's why you should read my book. You know, the book's on sale for $5. It's about an 800-page book. It's an instant download. It's an ebook. You're welcome to print it out. You're welcome to buy one copy and forward it to your entire email list. But if you read that book, you read the first 5 pages, you're going to get your money's worth. You read the chapter on murder by numbers, for example, you'll see how often people die by the same repetitive patterns. So it's took a lot of documentation for me to figure out what it was all about. All right, I don't see that anybody in the chat has the birthday of this man. It might not be out there. Some people's birthdays just aren't existing online. JP says he can't find it. I couldn't find it either. I was trying to find it for a minute. So hold on. There's a website I just thought of. I think it's like biography.com or something like that. Maybe it'd be there. Forget what that website's called. Can check this website. Maybe it's got it. Yeah. Some people, their birthdays just aren't out there, so. Well, Janelle, to answer your question, what you should do is you should, it's too bad that my channels have been taken down so many times, but your question about the grid going down is actually where my research began. If you go to my blog, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com, and you go to my oldest blog post from October of 2013, It's under the 2013 section. Got a really long blog post on all this predictive programming for a big blackout in the nation. So come back and read this post. A lot of information here. And a lot of the predictive programming that's been put out for a big blackout, from TV shows to books, it focuses on the Southeast region, Carolinas. And if it does happen, I wouldn't be surprised if it starts there because it's been foreshadowed. So Rick says he was 34, not 35. Well, every single headline I've seen says he was 35. But if he is 34, as I just showed a moment ago, I mean, I don't know what headline you're looking at. Every single thing that's broken this news says he was 35. Oh, okay. NBC News does have 34. NBC News has 34. But again, for the guy who wants to come here and act like he's made some sort of point, I love when people leave comments like that. It's like, are you even paying attention to what I'm showing? Because I did just talk about the number 34. This guy's known for a trivia brand. In the most pure cipher, trivia and murder are both 34. So I don't know if his age is 34 or 35, but either way, the puzzle fits. Again, you know. Yeah, usually when people speak up against me, they are wrong. You won't find many of my critics being right ever. Might sound arrogant, but it's also a factual. All right, we'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. Until next time.